and they marched and they voted. Some of them died so that we could have this precious experience of life. We are here today because the dream is under threat. Not the American dream they talk about on TV. Can I put that one to rest? There's two American dreams. One of them I call the American fantasy. You know that one? Everybody's gonna be rich. Everybody. And we're all gonna be able to ride out on our credit cards to the great white suburbs, get a McMansion, buy flat screen TVs to cover up the holes in our lives. That is the American fantasy, which is turning into an American nightmare. That is dying out on its own accord. It deserves no defense, and it will get no defense. I'm glad that's going away. That wasn't serving anybody. But let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. The very first thing Dr. King said about his dream when he stood before the nation, just 33 years old. You know he was just 33? We act like he was 79 years old at the March on Washington. 33. Talked about his dream, talked about his children. The first thing he said, I have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. He wasn't talking about commercialism. He wasn't talking about materialism. He wasn't talking about, I'm gonna get mine. He was talking about living in a country where everybody counts and where everybody's dreams matter, where you shouldn't have to be born rich to be able to get an education and get a good job and do better by your children. You shouldn't have to be born with a famous last name to be able to have a shot in America. He died for that version of the American dream. The other one I wouldn't give 2 pennies for, but that version I would lay down my life for, and I know you would too. I know you would too. That's a good dream, and it's worth defending. And the reason we're here today is because there's some dream killers in America. There's some dream killers right here in Hawaii. There are some people who have taken the American dream and turned it upside down, inside out. The dream is supposed to be that you can work hard, play by the rules, and get somewhere. But you and I both know right here in Hawaii and across America, the people who are working the hardest, who are following the rules, are the ones who are being left behind, the ones who are suffering the most, the ones who are hurting the most. And yet some people who are not working that hard at all, their investments work for them. And sometimes they break a lot of rules, especially on Wall Street. But they're the ones that are doing well. That's taking the American dream inside out, upside down. That's killing the dream. And we have a responsibility to the young people to do for them what our parents and our grandparents did for us. They should not, oh, y'all can clap on that if you want to. After all our parents went through to build up this idea of an America that could work for everybody and where everybody could work, watching this new generation graduate off a cliff every spring. They graduate off a cliff. I remember when graduations were happy. I remember when graduations were happy. I remember when people didn't graduate and then worry about not being able to get a job. Graduate, didn't worry about how am I going to pay off this debt. Graduate and worry about how long they're going to be back on mama's couch. We have so much work that needs to be done, and so many young people who need work. Can we be wise enough to connect the people who most need work to the work that most needs to be done? and be a great nation. That's our challenge. That's our challenge. I think we can meet that challenge. We can meet that challenge. The genius and the wisdom of ordinary people, like my grandfather, my grandmother, like my mother and my father, and like yours, is in short supply, unfortunately, in our nation's capital, and sometimes even here in the state capitol. I'm sure the legislatures would agree with that. Legislators would agree with that. But we can do something about that in a democracy. If you look to your left and look to your right, I mean, it's not hypothetical. You can actually look to your left and look to your, it's not on TV. We're here together. The young poet was here and he said, what are the chances that the next person he meets is an Einstein, is a Harriet Tubman? I would say, looking around, I think the chances are pretty high. They're pretty high. We don't believe anymore that any one superhero can come and save us. I happen to have a job in Washington, D.C. Some of you may have heard about it. I was there for 6 months. Best 6 months of my life, followed by the worst 2 weeks. So if you know anything about the story, you can Google it. But what I saw there is why I'm here today. I saw some of the most beautiful people, some of the most well-intentioned people, some of the smartest people ever to serve in our government be stopped in their tracks. Stopped in their tracks by people who mean us no good, people who claim to be patriots, but seem to hate everybody in America. That's always struck me as strange. When I say I love America, I mean I actually love the people in America. Actually the people who actually live in America. Some of them are brown, some of them are female, some of them are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. Some of them have bizarre piercings and tattoos. But I love them. How can you say you love America, but then despise most of the people who live here? I don't understand that politics. I don't understand how you can say you love America and love the Statue of Liberty, but then not read the poem at the bottom that says, give me your tired, give me your poor, give me your huddled masses who yearn to breathe free. In my way I was raised, you can't be an anti-immigrant bigot and a patriot at the same time. You can't, because they don't go together. They don't go together. Not in my America. They don't go together. And so, what was missing in those great moments after 2008, and we were all hugging and crying. I saw y'all in Hawaii in 2008, November. Y'all acted a fool in Hawaii. Y'all were crying and hugging, and maybe it's on YouTube. You can't pretend you weren't excited. 2008. What happened to all that hope? What happened to all that beauty? What happened to all that spirit? Did people leave the planet? Was there a rocket ship I missed? Did people join that other party with the warm beverage? What is it? The coffee? What is the party? No. We're still here. We're still here. And we still have each other. We still have each other. Nobody can take that from us, whatever they do on TV. We're here. And so the great opportunity that we have tonight is to tap into the genius and the wisdom that's right here in this community. There are doctors and lawyers in this community. There are restaurateurs right here. They're students and artists. What'd you say? Farmers. They're farmers. Hey, they're farmers right here. They got farmers right here. And hey, look, and don't count out these farmers. They had a sign. I had to give a double take. It said, "Keep the country, country." All right? Keep the country, country. I thought it was a typo. I said, no, that's genius. So you don't know who you're sitting next to. And so what we want to do is to have you turn to each other. We're going to take about 6-7 minutes just for you to meet the person sitting next to you. Pair up. And we want you just to ask and answer a simple question. Brother Sam spoke from his heart about the dreams of his parents and grandparents. The poet went back to 6 generations. I was doing some math up here with his poetry. We want you to take a moment just for a few minutes and ask the question, what does the American dream mean to you? Not the one on TV, the Madison Avenue thing. No, in your family, what does it mean to continue to try to have a better life for your children? And what are we going to do now and in the future to pass on a life that's good for our young people? Those are the questions. What does a dream mean to you? What does it mean in your family? What are we going to do now and in the future to pass on a better life? And what actions can we take together to make it happen? Now, while you are talking, something strange will be going on. I don't want you to call the police. We love our police and they're busy. There will be people walking around you and they're here on purpose and they're just going to be listening. And they're going to be capturing some of the great ideas that they hear. And we're going to report that back out so the people who are watching here and who are watching at home can begin to get just a taste of what's here and what's available and what's possible here in Hawaii. And then we're going to move on with the program. Is that all right? All right, I'm going to bring Brother Sam up to give you further instruction. But once we do a couple of rounds of thinking together and sharing together, I'm going to close out and we're going to have an action step that we can all take together that will help us to rebuild the dream. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.